Jai Jai Shri Radhe Sa Vaishnav Ko Jai Shri Krishna Shri Vallabhadi Shri Ki Jai Ho Shri Gosaiji Ki Jai. Continuing with our recitations of the stories of the 252 Vaishnavas, today is day 212, 212 and Varta 209. Part 3 continued. Srinathji, Sri Yamunaji and Sri Gosaiji all greatly blessed Kishori Bai. Part 4. Once Sri Gosaiji woke Sri Govardhanaji from his afternoon nap. Kishori Bai entered the temple after applying the essential oils of flowers to her body. Such was her loving mood for the Lord. Part 5. One day Sri Gosaiji pondered this: Kishori Bai has seen the happiness within Sri Nandaraji's house. Even now, she is able to see the joy of the Lord's childhood pastimes. However, she has not experienced the bliss of the Lord's great circle dance. Therefore, Sri Gosaiji went to the Bilchu forest and sang this bhada. Kishori Bai was with him, and it was a day in the month of Vaishakha. Bhadrag Kedaro. The most beloved Krishna calls his most beloved, "My dear one, step into the rasa circle, for it is here that love has come." She appears in his eyes, he shuts them, and becomes filled with her nectar. He lives within the temple of her heart. The gopis become fully filled with that loving nectar, and the play that they enjoy together lights up the night. When Sri Vittalnathji, the poet, witnesses this scene, he sings, "Oh, see, now the beloveds have begun to dance." During the rendering of this kirtan, both Sri Gosaiji's and Sri Kishori Baiji's hearts became fully absorbed in its mood. Then Sri Gosaiji effected the experience of the Ras Leela to Kishori Bai. He then gave her his half-chewed pan leaf parcel. Then she saw many groups of gopis, and amongst them was Damodar Das in his Leela form, as well as many others of the Vaishnavas of whom she knew. She then saw herself in the middle of them all. She thought, "This is my form in the eternal Leela. I am singing the Kedaro Rag with much loving mood." All of these are tales of nectarian loving mood. Sri Gokulnathji has written about this in his commentary on the Rasamanjari treatise. There he describes Damodar Das's amazing form. Kishori Bai saw him in this form. She was most fortunate to do so. His form was unfathomable, but she was able to see it. Near him were also standing all the other Vaishnavas. She asked Sri Gosaiji, "O Maharaj, these Vaishnavas are like me on this earth presently, but I have now seen them all in the eternal Leela. What is the reason for this?" Sri Gosaiji replied, "In this path of grace, Vaishnavas have three forms: 1 Adhibotic, 2 Adhyatmic, and 3 Adhidevic. The Adhibotic form is in this material world, where the Adhidevic form is their form in the eternal Leela. The Adhyatmic form is between these two. These are their three categories. A Vaishnava who serves the Lord according to the rules of this path of grace and thus experiences the Lord's Leelas is indeed most blessed. I have appeared on this earth to uplift this type of divine soul." Kishori Bai then inquired, "O Maharaj, you are all-powerful and can do as you wish. You are also the manifest form of Sri Swamiji and fulfill our heart's desires in every way. You have blessed me with the joy of the vision of the Lord's pastimes." She prostrated before him. He gave her his blessings and placed his hand upon her head, saying, "Always keep the company of Vaishnavas." At that time, Chacha Harivamsji was seated there. He asked Sri Gosaiji, "O Maharaj, why did you place your lotus hand on this Kishori Bai's head? You also advised her to always keep the company of Lord's loving devotees, and that water that mixes with Ganga Jal also becomes as holy as Ganga Jal. Why such blessings?" Sri Gosaiji then replied, "The Lord's loving devotees are like Ganga Jal. By meeting them one can know my true form. That is why I advised her to keep always the company of great devotees and to always listen to their instructions. And to always listen to their instructions, one should also partake of Mahaprasad from their hands only." Chachaji was very pleased to hear these words. Sri Gosaiji spoke further, "Kishori Bai will be born one more time upon this earth. She will be the wife of my son Sri Gokulnathji. This is secret, so please keep it inside your heart only." Bhav Prakash. This tale has revealed the true forms of Sri Yamunaji and Sri Gosaiji. Sri Yamunaji and Sri Gosaiji are both very compassionate. They have both appeared on earth for the upliftment of divine souls. When Sri Yamunaji grants her grace, the devotee attains a new body fit for making Seva to the Lord. And through Sri Gosaiji's blessings, the divine soul experiences the Lord's pastimes, whereby they gain entrance into the Lord's personal entourage. Therefore, embodied souls should surrender to both Sri Yamunaji and Sri Gosaiji. Thus concludes Varta 209, the story of Kishori Bai, who is the recipient of Sri Gosaiji's great grace and an accomplished Vaishnava. There is no end to her tale. Kishori Bai Ki Jai Ho. Varta 210, the story of two Kunabi Patel brothers who brought sandalwood from Malayagiri. Bhav Prakash. These two brothers are devotees of tamasi disposition. In the eternal Leela, they are cowherd boys. They are named Sumangal, the elder brother, and Shri Mangal, the younger brother. They both manifest from Kamodini and are thus personifications of her divine loving sentiment. They were born into a Kunabi Patel family in Gujarat. Their parents died when they were 20 and 25. They then set off for a pilgrimage. Part 1. A group of Vaishnavas travelled from Gujarat to Vraja to have the holy site of Shri Giriraji and Shri Govardhanaji. The two brothers joined that group and came to Gopalpur, that is Srinathji Dwar, that is Jetipura. They had the holy site of Shri Govardhanaji and also of Shri Gosaiji. When they saw Shri Gosaiji, they saw him as the Supreme Lord, more beautiful than millions of cupids. They resolved to become his disciples. Then they came to Shri Gosaiji's Betak when he descended from the Shri Giriraj mountain. Shri Gosaiji was sitting with the gathered Vaishnavas enjoying some conversation and laughter. The two brothers prostrated before him and when they had a chance requested him to accept them as disciples. Shri Gosaiji happily gave them initiation with the Lord's name. He told them to fast for one day and thereafter granted them the Brahmasambandh initiation. He looked at them both with his grace-filled eyes, and the two of them were very happy. They decided to stay near Giriraji, and they then served Shri Gosaiji and Shri Govardhanaji in whatever way they could. Part 2. Then one day Shri Gosaiji told the brothers to go to Malayagiri in the south of India to fetch some pure sandalwood. They set off immediately, and it took them quite some time to reach there. To protect themselves from snake bites, they covered their whole bodies with animal skins, only leaving a gap for just one eye. One brother stood holding a long stick. The other brother used that to help him climb up, and when he had climbed up, he tied a rope around the branch of the sandalwood tree. He used a saw to cut through the branch. As the branch was falling, a snake spat its venom at him, but the venom did not touch him. The second brother pulled the rope and fetched down the cut piece of sandalwood. Many days later, they returned and came to see Shri Gosaiji. He was most pleased and offered the brothers a reward. They requested, "Oh, Maharaj, please allow us to offer this sandalwood as paste to Srinathji. Shri Gosaiji agreed. One brother prepared some sandal paste and applied it to Srinathji's body, while the other sat and fanned him. Shri Gosaiji was very pleased to see this. The moral of this story is that any work undertaken with full faith in the Guru's words will certainly be successful. The Lord never ever leaves the side of one who would even give up their life for his sake. This thus concludes Varta 210, the story of the two Kunabi Patel brothers who were recipients of Shri Gosaiji's great grace and accomplished Vaishnavas. There is no end to their tale. Shri Gosaiji ki jai ho. Sab Vaishnavan ko jai Shri Krishna. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Anand ki Anand ki jai ho.